My day would usually involve some kind of wet lab because I'm doing research. But at the same time, for example, lunch and dinner, I'm based in a college, so I usually go to canteen to eat with other people from the same course or different course. I would try to do a lot of things outside of PhD. For example, I'm involved in sports, even though I've enjoyed it quite recently. But I'm also very into music, so going to see music or playing music is something that I've been doing for a long time. Sports has always been a big part of my life since being in St. Andrews. I think being in the kind of team environment, playing football has helped me a lot in the university as well, because that is a very nice way of connecting with other people through football. And it's something that I enjoy doing it all the time. It takes the stress out of whatever you're doing for the course, doing research or preparing for exams. I support Barcelona through and through. My time at St. Andrews was quite supportive, especially when preparing for universities. We had a lot of information of what kind of application process is like, and especially preparing for the interviews in UK universities. I've had a lot of supportive environment. I've been surrounded by a lot of teachers who were willing to help me prepare for interviews, and that's been an important part of the process that I was lucky enough to have. I think one fondest memories that I had was being involved in the Tanzania expedition trip. It was such an eye-opening experience that I wouldn't have had if I were at anywhere else. So this is not just a trip to Tanzania, it is the whole project where we prepare, we organize some events to look for fundings and donations, and we kind of bring that to Tanzania, where we help. One of the things that we did was we helped kind of construction of a school, which is kind of a great experience. And I think in general, being involved in such an environment in a other side of the world has been helpful in many ways, not just as a service aspect, but for just an experience. To be involved in multiple things, I think I used to tend to stuck in one subject, for example, but being in this environment helped me look into exploring whole different subjects. For example, I'm a very kind of math and science person, but learning economics in IB has kind of helped me a lot into that kind of side of the world, and that's still been helpful because in some aspects I'm also interested in learning about economics and kind of financial areas. One advice I would give is that IB is not the end of the process. I think it is still part of a big process that you have as part of your life, and there's a lot more to come at universities and beyond. So being kind of stressful is not a kind of good way to deal with IB, and I think you should be very excited about what you're going to be doing in IB in the future. I think the special thing about being at St. Andrews is the closeness to students and teachers. So whenever I have questions during the class or even after the class, they're always happy to answer any questions that I have. So for example, if I have a specific questions in math, I can always ask during lunchtime or other breaks, and they're always happy to answer and explain more details. So that's been very helpful.